Right, let's try and not hit anything. Including Bruce's bike. Gates are shut. Just stay. Right. See how wet the field is. Right, good morning guys. Welcome back to another video. You would have seen a little clip there. I was driving the Haldrup up to the field here, so we're going to do a video on that today. We're here with our grass check plots and the dog. We're going to do some grass sampling. So we've got 6 strips of grass to cut here this morning that we're going to use the Haldrup to cut. Before I cut them, I've got to take a plate meter reading to see what that reckons is on the floor there. So for anyone that's relatively new to the channel, this is our Haldrup. What that does is it harvests grass and takes like trial plot samples, a bit like what we got here. The samples that we take here contributing to the grass check experiment that is in the back of the farmer's garden every week. So there's like a average growth for different parts of the country, so we contribute to the southwest, and that's what we're going to do this morning. So what we do is we take 3 cuts from each treatment. There's 2 treatments here, which means we take 6 cuts of grass, we measure their fresh weight, and then we dry them in the oven, take their dry weight, we work out the dry matter, and then we can see how much they're growing per plot, and they're on 2 different fertilizer regimes. So A follows what we call the farm platform here, so that gets fertilizer every time the farm platform does, and B gets a set amount every 3 weeks. So it's interesting to compare the 2. So I'm going to take my plate meter readings here a minute, and then we'll fire up the Haldrup and start taking some samples. So as you saw me do there, we take 10 readings per plot in a zigzag formation across the plots to try and get an accurate and a fair reading of each plot. So we've done that. I've written them down on my phone. That goes into the spreadsheet with all the other information. So now we're on to cutting. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut the grass with the Haldrup. It goes onto a bed underneath here, which has got a scale on it. So we'll weigh it fresh on there. We'll then put a sample into a bag for each plot, and then what we do is we just get rid of the rest under the fence for it to rot down that we don't use. We then take the samples in and dry them in the lab. So we'll jump up and cut the first plot. Hopefully you can see a bit of what's going on, but we'll start at the machine here. It's quite noisy, so I apologise for noise. Turn on our main valve, so we've got hydraulics everywhere. Lift the reel up, push it out a bit. So this drives hydrostatically like foragers and combines. So you just push the lever forward to go forward. And what I'm going to do with, I've got 2 foot pedals to the right of the steering wheel. One of them will turn on the cutting bar, hopefully. There you are. And one of them turns on the bed, like so. We're going to line ourselves up with the plot. Get our rev set to about 1800. them down independently, but we tend to keep it on 10. And then we just nudge our way forward through our plot. And once we get to the end, lift the cutter bar out of work, we stop, pull the reel in so all the grass gets flicked onto the bed. Like so. Lift the reel up a bit, slow the revs down, and turn it all off on the foot pedal. Then I just got to back out the plot. A little bit soft in places today. Not ideal, but we'll be fine. So what I'll do now is I've got a weight up here of what's on the scale, so I write that down. If I show you, that number there is what we've harvested, so it's flittering between 5.3 and 5.4. When I get off the machine it will stabilise. Now this scale here relates to this, so we've got a scale here, so I put my hand on there, see that one goes up. That's for taking a sample. It's a 2-person machine, you can take a sample as you cut from here, but I'm on my own today, so I've got to get it now and put some of that grass that's on the bed into a bag to take it to oven dry it, and then we'll just repeat the process, and then I'll kick out what's left on the bed just into a pile here and come back and get it with a Manitou when it's dry, because I don't want to go over near the fence because it's fairly wet over there at the minute, but we'll go and take our sample. So there is my sample now for plot A3, so I'll take that into the lab once I finish here, and with the rest of all the samples, and dry them. They'll stay in the oven for 24 hours, take them back out tomorrow, and yeah, we'll crack on and cut the rest of them. So you might be wondering why I reversed back off the plots instead of just driving straight out the other end. Now that's why. The top side of these plots are really quite soft and wet. I mean, you'd probably get away with it here, but that's the next plot I got to cut. I can't really go any further because the wheels on the Haldrup are tiny and you just get stuck in there. But there it is in all its glory. You can see it does a really nice job of mowing these off. You get a lovely even cut. We were doing it with hand mowers at the start of the year when it was too soft to travel up here with the machine, and you just don't get the same quality of job done. It is far better with that one, and you can weigh it all on board. You haven't got to rake it up and take it into a lab. But there's the dog. Obviously he's a lot safer inside than he is out. Have a little look at the machine. So that's the cutting bar with the belt bed and the reel. We've got these nice bristles on. There's a conveyor belt on the bed to spit any unwanted stuff out the side. Your fire extinguisher on the back. Yeah, we've got an auger there that turns all the time, so if you want to take a sample, there's an auger in there. Go on this bed. You can take a sample in the cab if you want to. Obviously it's a bit difficult for me to do that whilst I'm on my own, but we'll crack on and get some more done. Right, so we've harvested all the plots now. I've got to take the machine back to the yard, take the bags of grass into the lab and start weighing them. Right people, I am currently in the lab doing some weighing. So we have these trays that have got like a gauze bottom. Stick that on the scale and write down the weight. Get your sample. Put a little bit in. You then write down the weight of your sample and the tray together, which is on that scale there. You then take it over to, this is the oven. It's set at 100 degrees, it's currently at 87, so it's working its way up. You bring your tray over. Open the door. And shut it back up. So they can get left for 24 hours. So they get left for 24 hours and then I come back and weigh it all dry again. And that's what gives you your dry matter. You see how much water's come out of the grass. So the last thing we do is we send off a sample from the A plot and the B plot to a company called Scientech. They do their own little tests on it and that ends up in the Farmer's Guardian. So I'm going to just clean up the mess here, it gets fairly messy, and then we're hoping to start a second cut tomorrow, so we're going to put the mowers on. Right, slight change of plan. The heavens have opened, so I doubt we'll be mowing in the morning. We might be, but we're going to fill up some gravel bags ready for when we've done the silage, because we need to get them ready for sheeting down. For anybody that's wondering, obviously last video we were TB testing. Unfortunately we had 3 inconclusive cows, so that means we're under restriction again. We've got to test those again in 60 days time. I'm not quite sure what happens in the meantime if the culture comes back on the one that we went down with in the slaughterhouse. If that comes back as positive, whether we go under a more severe restriction and the IRs become reactors, I'm not entirely sure how it works, but for the meantime we had 3 IRs, so testing again in 60 days time, which is not ideal because no one likes TB testing, but there you are.
Getting that first bit, isn't it? Look at that. That is brilliant.
Some boys.
Yeah. Already we've done, because the thing is, like you said, we don't need as many this time because we'll stack straw, won't we? Really, John only wants enough for the front.
I'd like to report to my line manager that I'm being worked too hard.
I'll make sure he gets your memo.
If you see him, can you let him know?
Yeah, I will. I'm not sure he'll give us stuff. Let's just review how many days in August you actually have been here.
First one. Oh no!
Yeah. On the silage.
I think as of,
because we're going to be working quite.
we'll be doing.
What will there be? There'll be. You'll get ahead and do a bit of mowing.
Yeah.
Phil can row up, or I could row up.
And then it'll be trailers more than anything. Because
Yeah.
John's not here.
Exactly. It's just.
Hey, get off. So you've seen us filling up some gravel bags there. We've done another 50 or 60 or so. We sowed a bit of clover seed last week, or John did I should say, with the Einbach on the 130. So we've got some clover going into some of the legume paddocks. I'm just about done for the day. Me and Gus are going home for our dinner. But thank you guys for watching. Hopefully we'll be silaging end of this week, so it'll be one of the next videos if the weather holds off, and then we got all the combining to do still as well. So there's plenty of good stuff to come. But thank you guys for watching. Please give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you'd like any JM Farming merch, hats, shirts, hoodies, beanies, let me know on one of my social media links, which will be on the bottom of the screen now. And yeah, see you guys on the next video. Cheerio.